Networks operate on a simple calculus. Drama generates profit, but legal liability generates a blacklist. When a cast member crosses the line into corporate endangerment, the doors are supposed to lock permanently. Yet a total network purge became the first step in a multi-year sequence to systematically dismantle that lock from the outside. In 2017, Phaedra Parks engineered the darkest moral violation in the history of reality programming, weaponizing the format to execute a targeted off-camera character assassination that forced an entire network to sever ties. Her subsequent rehabilitation was a three-phase extraction protocol. First, she secured a holding pattern in a secondary franchise. Next, she laundered her reputation through a gamified murder mystery. Finally, she leveraged a casting void to reclaim her original throne. Modern media survival relies on understanding how algorithms prioritize engagement and how shifting into new formats can completely overwrite a radioactive past. For 7 seasons on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Parks operated behind a carefully constructed shield. By presenting herself as a devout Southern belle and a high-powered attorney, she built an absolute barrier of moral immunity that kept her castmates on the defensive. That pristine armor cracked when her husband, Apollo Nida, was convicted of federal bank and wire fraud. The reality of a spouse facing years in federal prison created a glaring operational discrepancy with her flawless on-camera narrative, exposing her to intense scrutiny from her peers. To deflect this incoming fire, Parks initiated a silent counteroffensive. She targeted her former friend and primary rival, Kandi Burruss, whom she blamed for failing to support her during the fallout of Nida's incarceration. Rather than launch the attack directly, Parks fed a fabricated story to her closest ally, Portia Williams. Parks convinced Williams that Burruss and her husband were actively plotting to drug and sexually assault her, turning Williams into the on-camera mouthpiece for a highly dangerous, manufactured rumor. The strategy collapsed during the Season 9 reunion. Served with a cease and desist letter, a cornered Williams was forced to admit on camera that the entire drugging accusation had been fed to her directly by Parks. The resulting fallout entered the realm of severe corporate liability. A false rape accusation leveled against a co-star forced Bravo's hand, resulting in Parks' immediate and unceremonious removal from the network. This hyper-defensive overcorrection transformed her from an untouchable elite reality star into an absolute corporate pariah. The path back to television didn't begin in Atlanta. It started in a castle in the Scottish Highlands, on Peacock's The Traitors. Parks moved from an unscripted environment where toxic lies have real-world consequences into a highly structured competition where deceit is the entire point. In a game that explicitly rewards players for lying and calculated betrayals, her historical liabilities were instantly neutralized. What was previously deemed sociopathic on a reality soap opera was now celebrated as masterful strategy. Analytical, she deployed a maternal camouflage protocol. By cooking breakfast and acting as a den mother to the younger reality stars, she insulated herself from the early suspicion that plagues aggressive players. This chart illustrates episodes survived by original Traitors. While her co-conspirators were banished, Parks remained the longest-lasting original conspirator. Due to deep social integration, faithfuls ignored her until the final stages, where the banishment vote trendline spikes with 15 votes. By converting real-world malice into elite gameplay mechanics, she forced the mainstream audience to champion her deceptive traits. With her public image effectively sanitized, Parks initiated a corporate soft launch back onto Bravo, joining the cast of Married to Medicine for its 10th season. This placement was deliberate. Embedding herself among credentialed surgeons and medical professionals provided a halo effect of professional respectability, distancing her from the combative history she left behind in Atlanta. She maintained strict risk management throughout her tenure. She intentionally skipped the Season 11 reunion to ensure she wouldn't be drawn into any unscripted cast confrontations that might generate new liabilities. This minimal participation functioned as a strategic holding pattern. She remained visible within the Bravo ecosystem, collecting a paycheck and maintaining relevance while waiting for a critical vacancy to open in Atlanta. Her successful maneuver proves a stark reality of television production. Network executives prioritize legacy charisma over absolute moral compliance every single time. Long before her television exit, Parks understood how to weaponize the legal system. She routinely utilized high-value defamation lawsuits to intimidate detractors, tying them up in federal courthouses to delay the exposure of her early operational liabilities. But her most effective defense mechanism during her exile was a radical aesthetic overhaul. She shed the conservative attorney persona, re-emerging on social media as a hyper-edited, glamorous influencer. She flooded the digital space with highly quotable, campy character moments. These viral soundbites dominated social media timelines, effectively burying the search engine history of her severe assault allegations. This triggers a psychological phenomenon known as audience amnesia. When a reality star rebrands their physical appearance and persona towards self-aware comedy, viewers begin treating them as an entirely new character. She never embarked on a genuine public apology tour. Controlling a platform's visual meme economy proved to be a far more effective rehabilitation tool than showing actual remorse. Bravo operates an interconnected ecosystem, seamlessly rotating reality stars across spin-offs and secondary shows to maximize viewer retention across the network. The final lock on the Atlanta doors snapped when Kandi Burruss voluntarily departed the franchise after season 15. With the victim of the 2017 campaign officially out of the building, the network's last institutional barrier vanished. Facing plummeting ratings, the network fell back on its algorithmic dependency. Rather than invest in unproven, organic talent, they opted to inject a guaranteed ratings draw back into the bloodstream. And so, she walked back onto the red carpet. After a 6-season hiatus, Phaedra Parks secured a highly lucrative contract to return to The Real Housewives of Atlanta, her historic transgressions expunged by corporate mandate. In a hyper-optimized corporate space, the participants who offer organic vulnerability eventually burn out, but a mastermind who learns to hack the structural mechanics of reality television itself will always outlive them.